Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to episode 130 of the Story Stream. It is Wednesday, September 29th, the second last day of September. And it is the second day in a row where it's felt very much like fall where I am. I think confirming in me that it's my favorite season. How are you today? I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying the start of fall. I really do enjoy fall, especially the mornings. The afternoons still remain very hot. Let's see, today I worked on pop-up cards, experimenting with some forms, and I wasn't too happy with this one, where you open it and then you open it again. It was disappointing after the work I put into it, but I have many more sheets of cardstock. I mentioned on our last episode, our last time together, a book called Fiona's Luck, and I found it in my collection of books. Luckily, it was very easy to find. I think when I last went through my books, it caught my eye. Eric, you're here. I'm doing great, thank you. I'm glad to hear you're doing good. It's been a while. It's been a while since I saw you last. Let me know what's up. Eric, we're going to be working on a story today that we started 2 episodes ago, which was actually 2.5 weeks ago when we started. But the story takes place in Ireland with leprechauns who today will decide what kind of characters they are, friendly or tricky. This story features some, kind leprechauns, but a greedy leprechaun king, and a clever human who earns the luck back. And I pulled this out to see if it could give us any inspiration for today. Is that it? Are we ready to start? 2 minutes and 53 seconds in. I don't have much news to report. But Eric, I'd love to hear how you're doing. Yeah, I've got pop-ups just all over my brain lately. This story isn't a pop-up, but let's get it, shall we? I'll catch you up by reading the story. And you can let me know, Eric, if you have any big ideas. Oh, this was from a gag I started with. Oh, Eric, my microphone. I have a new microphone. It's from the same people, Rode, but they sent me a new one. My last one, which was buzzing, I guess they decided couldn't be repaired. Let me know how the sound is, by the way. So yeah, I was using signs to communicate. That's a lot of information I just dumped on you. Let's go straight to the story. We started 2 episodes ago with the words mushroom, skyscraper, yodel, and beautiful. We brainstormed a few ideas, and we settled on this idea of a rainbow that lands on Earth, and a leprechaun, and an enchanted mushroom. Those were some other ideas. We thought about looking at mushrooms from an ant's eye perspective. And here's our story. At the end of rainbows, if you're lucky enough to follow one to its end, you will usually find a pot of gold. Most people think this is because leprechauns hide their gold there. This is not the case. The leprechauns put empty pots at the ends of rainbows because rainbows hold powerful magic. The leprechauns use their pots to catch the magic and prevent it from spilling everywhere. That much magic unleashed in the world would be a catastrophe. The magic will, over time, turn to gold. And the leprechauns will use that gold to buy tiny shoes or favors from poor farmers. They may even throw the gold into the sea, which is why sunsets look so beautiful. But this is a story about a time when that magic got loose. Once upon a time, there was a leprechaun named Louis who developed a taste for soup. It started with some simple boiled potatoes, but soon he started experimenting with broths and bisques. One day he tried a new recipe. It was the most mouth-watering clam chowder he had ever made. It was so delicious he failed to notice the storm clouds brewing above his head. Suddenly, the storm opened and dumped buckets of rain. It broke as quickly as it started, and a glorious rainbow shot through the clouds and fell to earth. "Oh no, oh no, oh no," cried Louis. "This cannot be good." He left his pot of chowder and rushed to the rainbow's end. "There's no telling what damage has been done," he worried. "We might have purple polka-dotted cows or flying pigs to deal with." But when Louis got to the rainbow's end, he only noticed a ring of mushrooms. "Well, this doesn't seem so bad," he panted. No sooner had Louis said that than, sproing, a giant mushroom grew out of the ground. It was as tall as a skyscraper and cast a long shadow across the fields. Louis stood there and stared slack-jawed at the colossal fungus. This is definitely not good. Leprechauns take the task of protecting the world from rainbow magic very seriously. Louis knew he would be in big trouble with the Leprechaun Guild if they saw this mushroom. "I need to get rid of... No, they will kick me out of the Leprechaun Kingdom for sure," whined Louis. "Poor unfortunate me, I will have no place to go. I need to get rid of this mushroom," he said. But how? Birds wheeled far above around the peak of the mushroom while Louis planned. "If I chop it down," he said, "it'll crash across a dozen sheep farms. If I take it apart in smaller pieces, I'll have more than I'll know what to do with. I don't even have that many mushroom recipes, and nobody wants that much mushroom soup." "No," said Louis, "there's only one thing for it. I need to hide this mushroom, and there's only one way to do that." Louis grabbed a large pouch of leprechaun gold and ran to the nearest village. "Attention, your attention, please," he cried. The townsfolk gathered. "I need carpenters," said Louis, "as many carpenters as your village can spare." "What for, Leprechaun?" asked a woman. "I'm building a big house, the largest you have ever seen." "We can help," said a man. "We've all built our own homes, but what is this house for?" "It's for the poor and unfortunate," said Louis, "a shelter for those with no place to go." He did not say he was talking about himself. "What are we waiting for?" said the sympathetic villagers. "Let's go." The townsfolk grabbed their tools and headed out of the village. Perfect, sneered Louis. He thought everyone had left, but he didn't see a little pair of eyes watching from behind a pig pen. And that's where we ended on Monday. To be continued. All right, what we have here... Hello, second viewer. Thank you for joining us. It's the story stream. We're working on a story that we started 2 episodes ago, but also 2.5 weeks ago. And I was about to say, this story is sort of taking 2 forms, and I guess I should expect that with such a break between the 2 stories. In the first part, we have Louis, the leprechaun, who seemed like a sympathetic guy. He just enjoys cooking soups and doesn't care much about gold and magic. But in the second part, where we introduce villagers, he is suddenly sort of a devious fellow who's trying to get a favor for free out of the villagers. So we have a decision to make. What do we like? Do we want a more traditional story? Something along the lines of Fiona's Luck, where the young woman tricks the leprechaun king. Sounds like a good story. Thank you, Eric. Oh, and thanks for the checking in on the sound. I'm glad it feels better. I just realized I had a dream. So for those of you who don't know how my sound is set up, it's this microphone, which is attached via a magnet to a soup can. But it keeps it a fair distance from my mouth. I had a dream I rigged an old lamp into a boom so the microphone could sit here, which probably gives us better sound, I'm imagining. Eric, do you prefer this sound, or is it too loud? I won't worry about it right now. We have a story to work on. And I'm actually procrastinating because I know this is going to be a big edit. Shasta's got the right idea. All right, I'm going to go through and I'm going to cross out a ton. Here we go. And let me know in the chat if you have any ideas as I'm doing this. At the rainbow's end, if you're lucky enough to follow one to its end, you will usually find a pot of gold. Help, says Ford. You need help, Ford? Oh, hello. Second viewer is Ford. Hello, Ford. Thanks for being here. It's always good to see you. I like the little wrench icon by your name, moderator. It kind of sounds, okay, good. So I know, all right, this sounds the same as this. Hello and welcome to episode 130 of the story stream. Hello and welcome to episode 130 of the story stream. All right, let's not worry about it. At the end of rainbows, if you're lucky enough to follow one to its end, you will usually find a pot of gold. Most people think this is because leprechauns hide their gold there. This is not the case. The leprechauns put empty pots at the ends of rainbows because rainbows hold powerful magic. All right, the leprechauns catch the magic. The magic will, over time, turn to gold. All right, let's... Whoops. The magic will, over time, turn to gold. And the leprechauns keep that gold in their homes. Eventually, what am I trying to say here? The leprechauns are hoarding magic. You know, I'm trying to say that let's see. So eventually the magic will over time turn to gold, and the leprechauns keep that gold hidden. Pulling it out in rare instances to buy little shoes eventually. The leprechauns will hold all the magic. Ah, boy, I'm having a real hard time with this, phrasing this. Let's try that again. The magic will, over time, turned to gold. The leprechauns keep this gold hidden from humans, with the result that magic slowly disappeared from the world. I'm going to change this to luck. The luck will, over time, turn to gold. The leprechauns keep this gold hidden from humans, with the result that magic was slowly disappearing from the world. Cows gave little milk. Hens laid tiny eggs. Let's describe a sad, sad world. Cows gave little milk, hens laid tiny eggs. Potatoes grew no bigger than pebbles. All in all, it was a terrible time. Let's draw a sad cow here. Your skin and bones, cow. All right, so now we need to go back and change our character Louis. Although this, I guess, works. But this is a story about a time when that But this is a story about how those times ended. There was a leprechaun named Louis who developed a taste for soup. It started with simple boiled potatoes, but soon he started experimenting with broths and bisques. One day, he was cooking the most mouth-watering clam chowder he had ever made. It was so delicious, he failed to notice the storm clouds brewing above his head. Suddenly, the storm opened, dumped buckets of rain. It broke as quickly as it started. and a glorious rainbow shot through the clouds and fell to earth. "Oh no, oh no, oh no," cried Louis. "This cannot be good." He left his pot and rushed to the rainbow's end. There's no telling what damage has been done, he worried. Not much luck in one spot. Could be a catastrophe. But when Louis got to the rainbow's end, he only noticed a ring of mushrooms. Let's see. Louis got to the rainbow's end just as it shimmered away. He only noticed where it had been, or where it had landed. He only noticed a ring of mushrooms. "Well, this doesn't seem so bad," he panted. No sooner had Louis said that than sprawling, a giant mushroom grew out of the ground. It was as tall as a skyscraper and cast a long shadow across the fields. All right, taking this page out. Leprechauns take the task of protecting the world from rainbow magic very seriously. Collecting. Leprechauns take the task of collecting rainbow magic very seriously. Louis knew he would be in big trouble with the Leprechaun Guild if they saw this mushroom. "They'll kick me out of the Leprechaun Kingdom for sure," whined Louis. "Poor unfortunate me, I'll have no place to go. I need to get rid of this mushroom." But how? Take that page out. There's only one thing for it. Decided Louis. "I need to hide this mushroom, and there's only one way to do that." Louis grabbed, you know what, he's not going to pay anybody for their help. Louis ran to the nearest village. "Attention, your attention, please," he cried. The townsfolk gathered. "I need carpenters," said Louis, "as many carpenters as your village can spare." "What for, Leprechaun?" asked a woman. "I'm building a big house, the largest," he answered. "The largest you have ever seen." "We can help," said a man. "We've all built our own homes, but what is this house for?" "It's for the poor and unfortunate," said Louis, "a shelter for those with no place to go." He did not say he was talking about himself. "What are we waiting for?" said the sympathetic villagers. "Let's go." The townsfolk grabbed their tools and headed out of the village. "Perfect," sneered Louis. He thought everyone had left, but he didn't see a little pair of eyes watching from behind a pig pen. That took some doing. We finally, or at least, I feel like the story's in a better spot. Eric, you have to go to soccer. Goodbye. Have a great day. Thank you for stopping in. It's very good to see you as always. I hope I get to see you again soon. Hopefully by then the story will will have a better shape or make some sort of sense. As much sense as a giant mushroom story can make. Let's see. All right, so where does that put us? That puts us with leprechauns who do not enjoy sharing their magic. One leprechaun who's responsible for loosing magic into the countryside, and a village full of kind townsfolk who are about to start shaping this mushroom into a skyscraper. So let's think for a moment, what happens next? So the townsfolk are going to work on the mushroom. The whole time, Louis' plan is just to disguise it. He wants He wants this mushroom to not look like a mushroom or anything that would get him in trouble. So the townsfolk are going to turn it into a skyscraper. They could maybe make their homes in it. The idea I had on Monday was that the notion here is that the leprechauns are hoarding wealth, and maybe that kid in our story, this young person, might find a way to trick Louis into loosening his purse. If you have any ideas, let me know in the chat. I'd be very happy to get your help on this one. The eyes belonged to I was thinking last time, the reason I thought of Fiona's luck partly was I had a young friend named Fiona who was Irish, but I don't know if I want to use that name. I wonder if I could pull up the same page we pulled up on Monday to think of a good Irish name. I was thinking that this person's best friend might be a pig named Finnegan. How about Casey? Is Casey an Irish name? Casey and Finnegan would be a nod to two puppets from the Mr. Dress-Up show. Let me see. Is Casey an Irish name? All right. I think we're in business. The answer is yes. The eyes belonged to a young pig keeper named Casey. Casey was muddy. And kept quiet, and so was very easy to miss. But there was little that Casey missed. I don't think this leprechaun is telling us the whole story. Finnegan. Whispered Casey. they followed Louis carefully, quietly. I like the idea that this gigantic boar or sow follows Casey like a puppy. Make the earth look really dry and cracked. All right. How are we? 34 minutes in. My shoulder, I mentioned, was really sore. I believe it's injured, in fact, but at the moment, it's not feeling that bad. I carried it in a sling for part of the day, which maybe helped. Let me see. All right, let's carry on. We have Casey and Finnegan now following the leprechaun. Here's all the townspeople way down the road. Let's draw a few wilted flowers. All right, so what I'm thinking right now is The people will begin helping Louis transform it from a mushroom into a skyscraper, or at least a dwelling. And then Casey will, I think, encourage Louis, saying, this isn't much of a building. You need to spend some money for stuff to go around it, to make it look more like a town. Yeah. Let's do that, and let's see if we can do it quickly. When the two friends got to the giant mushroom, they noticed they saw the townspeople hard at work turning the mushroom into a giant home. A door was carved into the mushroom's base. Above, carpenters were poking windows. Out of the mushroom's cap. Now, this isn't as large as the mushroom was in the lead up to our story, but that's fine. Man, these villagers work quickly. Did you know after drawing making this really makes me want to make a gigantic mushroom house in Minecraft. You know, and why is it in these stories, the leprechauns and the, Rumpelstiltskin, all those characters, they can't help gloating about their schemes. Louis stood under a tree and rubbed his hands together. Soon, no one will recognize this mushroom at all, he said. I think we need a part where Louis exposes a bit more of his plan, enough that Casey can infer what's happening here. Sharpen my pencils. 4:43. I think we can carry on for at least another 10 minutes. Soon no one will recognize this mushroom at all, he said. So the idea is that magic falls to earth and then over time turns to gold because it's magic. Or it's luck. Luck falls to earth, over time turns to gold because luck is magical. So if you don't catch it and it falls to earth, it can do whatever it wants, which is in this case, growing a gigantic mushroom. Now, is that mushroom lucky? Like, would that mushroom over time turn to gold? If you ate part of the mushroom, would you become lucky? We can decide those things soon. Soon no one will recognize this mushroom at all. Casey heard Louis' plan and made up their mind. Come on, Finnegan. They said. I haven't decided about Casey, so I'm going to use they for now. Casey heard Louis' plan and made up their mind. Come on, Finnegan, they said. Walking out from behind the tree, Casey looked at the mushroom and said, "That's the biggest mushroom I've ever seen." These are the important questions, Ford. These are the important questions. Walking out from behind the tree, Casey looked at the mushroom and said, "That's the biggest mushroom I've ever seen." Louis fumed. "What do you mean, mushroom?" "It's a house. Plain and simple." "It's a mushroom as sure as Finnegan is a pig." "No." "If it's a house, Finnegan is a horse." "She's not. She's a pig, and that is a mushroom." "Arg!" shouted Louis as he stamped the ground. "Arg!" shouted Louis as he stamped the ground. "A real house would have houses around it," said Casey. Is there a way we could get Louis to drop more magic on the ground? Maybe grow other mushrooms? Ooh, or other fruits or other vegetables, like a pumpkin or a gigantic gourd. They'd have to have like rainbows. We've set it up so that rainbows make this happen. We don't really have rainbows happening willy-nilly. I think it's gonna have to be money. More houses around here. And I wouldn't even notice that mushroom. Casey said as they sauntered away. You, villager, said Louis. Yes, answered the man. We need to build more homes. For the unfortunate. As much as I want to help the unfortunate, said the villager, as much as we want, we can't help. No, wait, we can't. We can't build without materials. Arg, said Louis as he opened his pouch. Take this gold and build and buy as many supplies as you need. I need this to look like a village. You got it, boss, said the villager. I think we're going to take this whole soup thing out of the story. But until we get there, let's not worry about it. Let's color in this gold, shall we? A few days later, and a number of homes. A few days later, a number of homes had sprung up around the giant mushroom. Let's actually, I'm going to take a bit of time with this drawing. I think this would be a lovely thing to see. Where'd my pencil go? A few days later, a number of homes had sprung up around the giant mushroom. Now this is a village. Said Louis. This isn't a village. Said Casey, stepping out from behind a tree. What do you mean? Said Louis. Hang on. If this is a village, then Finnegan is a cow. What do you mean? Said Louis. Villages have bakeries. And schools. And libraries. Said Casey. Finnegan is a pig. And this is a giant mushroom surrounded by empty houses. Arg! Shouted Louis. You! Villager! Louis sent the villager out to get more supplies. None of us can bake bread. And few of us own books. Said the villager. Take this. Said Louis. Throwing a handful of gold coins. You know, our story needs some sort of a timeline, maybe like the full moon. Take this, said Louis, throwing a handful of gold coins at the villager. Let's draw Mad Louie here. Looks more concerned than mad. Louis sent the villager out to get more supplies. I need a bakery and a school, he said. None of us have any flour and few of us own books, said the villager. Take this. Arg! Take this, said Louis, throwing a handful of gold coins at the villager. Have fun spending my gold. I will, said the villager. Louis was so mad he didn't notice how beautiful the mushroom looked against the setting sun. Oof. And I think we will now say to be continued, because the sun is also setting here. Thank you so much for joining me today for episode 130 of the Story Stream. Thank you to Eric and thank you to Ford for your company. I will be back on Friday evening when we might be lucky enough to wrap up this story. So until then, take care and be well. Bye for now.